As the police probe the shadows of the brutal death of Elise Renier, a medium who repeatedly aided the Lamberts, Renai discovers, with a chill that pierces her soul, that the spirits have not finished tormenting her family. The air seems to thicken with an oppressive presence, as if the very walls of their home exhaled a malevolent whisper, reminding them that terror never truly departs. In 1986, Elise Renier, a medium with a piercing gaze and a courageous heart, along with her loyal assistant Carl, comes to the rescue of the Lambert family. Young Josh, son of Lorraine Lambert, is trapped in a whirlwind of night terrors that tear at his being. His gift, as fascinating as it is horrifying, allows him to leave his body and wander in an astral journey, a pilgrimage between worlds that exposes him to unspeakable horrors. But this gift is an open door to the abyss, and Josh has drawn the attention of a malevolent spirit, a spectral parasite with hollow eyes and insatiable hunger, yearning to steal his place in the world of the living. Lorraine, her face contorted with panic at Elise's revelations, begs for her son's gift to be sealed, for his mind to forget even the existence of this ability that endangers him. It is a desperate plea, an attempt to shield him from the clutches of the unknown. Years later, the past returns like a shadow that never fades. Elise is called upon again to save Dalton, Josh's son, whose soul has been ensnared by a demon whose presence seems to corrupt the very air. Against his will, Josh must unearth the gift he swore never to use again, venturing into the spirit world to rescue his son. Though he succeeds in bringing him back, the experience leaves deep wounds in the family, invisible scars that bleed with every memory. And then, horror strikes again. Elise is found murdered, her lifeless body a cruel reminder that evil always exacts its price. As the police investigate the circumstances of her death, the Lamberts seek temporary refuge in the home of Josh's mother, the same place where, years before, Elise had confronted dark forces. The police investigation soon clears Josh of guilt, despite the suspicions Renai cannot shake. But relief is fleeting. Something sinister begins to slither into the Lamberts' lives, like an icy current seeping through the cracks of their new home. The piano, forgotten in a corner, emits discordant notes in the stillness of the night, as if invisible fingers played it with malice. The baby's toys activate on their own, their childish sounds warped into a disturbing chorus that echoes in the darkness. Dalton, sleeping in Josh's old room with his brother, is assaulted one night by malevolent spirits that seem to emerge from the shadows, their faces twisted with a fury that transcends death. All traces of doubt vanish when Renai begins to perceive the violent apparitions of a woman draped in a white gown, her spectral silhouette moving with a disturbing grace, like a harbinger of the storm about to unleash. Every corner of the house seems to whisper a warning: the evil is not done with them, and its hunger is insatiable. Darkness descends upon the Lamberts like a poisonous fog, and in their desperation, Specs and Tucker, Elise's loyal assistants, rush to their aid. With heavy hearts, they seek out Carl, Elise's former partner, now retired, whose soul still bears the scars of confronting the supernatural. Carl, a medium with a weary but resolute gaze, attempts to connect with Elise's spirit, whose presence seems to whisper from the beyond. An ethereal response guides Carl to an abandoned hospital, a place where time seems to have frozen, its corridors steeped in a silence that screams of forgotten tragedies. There, Josh's mother worked years ago, and the air is thick with echoes of suffering. Assaulted by visions of the past that envelop him like a shroud, Carl pauses in the old intensive care unit, a space that still seems to resonate with the anguished cries of Parker Crane, a disturbed patient who once attacked Josh during a visit to his mother and, shortly after, took his own life in an act of desperation. Summoning Elise's spirit once more, Carl receives a new vision, one that drags them to Parker Crane's house, a place that seems to ooze pure malevolence. Upon arriving, the group encounters a blood-chilling scene: 15 decomposing bodies, arranged like macabre trophies, the work of a psychopathic killer known as the Bride in Black. The horror intensifies when they realize it wasn't Elise guiding them, but Parker Crane's mother, a sadistic entity who manipulated her son to sate her murderous impulses, weaving a web of death from the beyond. Each discovery is a dagger to the soul, and Carl and Lorraine, their faces contorted with dread, begin to suspect that Josh might be under the control of Parker Crane or his mother, a dark force that has turned him into a flesh and blood puppet. With time running out, Specs, Carl, and Tucker devise a desperate plan to neutralize Josh, while Lorraine races to warn Renai, her heart pounding in her chest. But the horror erupts when Parker Crane, having seized control of Josh's body, attacks Carl, dragging him into the spirit world. There, Carl encounters the true Josh, trapped in a spectral limbo, his soul fighting to break free. Together, they delve into the root of the evil, tracing the source of the horror to the house of Parker Crane's mother. But upon arriving, they discover that the unsettling noises that plagued the Lamberts in their first home were nothing but Josh's desperate attempts to contact his family from the beyond. In a moment of pure terror, a malevolent spirit stalks Callie, Josh's daughter, poised to claim another victim. It is then that Elise's spirit, like a beacon in the storm, appears to drive the entity away and offers to guide Josh in his fight to reclaim his soul, on a journey where every step is a challenge to sanity and the heart. In his harrowing journey through the veil between worlds, Josh arrives at his own mother's house, where time twists like a distorted echo, unbound by the linear chains of the living world. There, in a moment that chills him to the bone, he witnesses his own exorcism from his youth, a ritual that marked his childhood with the terror of the unknown. With a shudder, he realizes that the adult who spoke to him as a child was none other than himself, an echo of his future trapped in the past. But there is no time to process this revelation, for in the real world, horror unleashes with relentless fury. Lorraine and Renai, upon returning to the house, are attacked by Parker Crane, whose malevolent presence continues to inhabit Josh's body like a ravenous parasite. In a whirlwind of unleashed violence, Renai and her children flee for their lives, seeking refuge in the basement while the possessed Josh pounds on the door with inhuman strength, each blow resonating like a harbinger of death. In an act of desperate bravery, Dalton resolves to return to the spirit world to find his father, carrying a toy crafted by his younger brother, an object that seems to glow with the innocence of the living. Meanwhile, in the spectral realm, Carl, Elise, and Josh finally reach Parker Crane's house, a place steeped in a darkness so dense it seems to devour light itself. There, they witness a soul-wrenching scene. Parker's mother, a sadistic figure with a twisted visage, humiliates him for being a boy, forcing him to dress as a girl in an act of cruelty that tears at his psyche. It is in this torment that the psychopathic profile of the bride in black is born, a monster forged in the trauma of forced cross-dressing and Parker's final attempt to mutilate himself to escape his identity. Yet, amid this darkness, a spark of the young Parker's goodness persists, like a whisper of humanity trapped in the abyss. It is this fragile light that enables Elise, with her ethereal presence and unyielding resolve, to permanently banish the mother's spirit, freeing the Lambert children and Renai in the real world from the clutches of death. Josh hears Dalton's voice, a beacon in the spectral storm, and finds his way back to his body, tearing himself free from the chains of the spirit world. For a moment, hope flickers. It seems the spirits will finally leave the Lamberts in peace, releasing them from their torment. Sometime later, Specs and Tucker arrive at the home of another family desperate for help. As they converse on the doorstep, Elise, now a protective spirit, manages to enter the house. Her mission is to contact Allison, a young woman who, following an accident, seems to have brought a malevolent spirit with her, a presence lurking in the shadows, poised to claim another victim. The cycle of horror, though silenced for now, whispers that it never truly ends, and the air grows heavy once more with the promise of new terrors.